That's weird. That's weird. Kind of wearing me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 67 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the strange, wacky, weird, spooky, and peculiar. And before we get into these longer stories, we like to catch you up on any strange news that you might have missed out on this last week. And I have one right here. As border agents seize 154 pounds of prohibited bologna at Texas crossing.
Don't be anything bigger than that bologna in here.
So apparently this guy was coming over from Mexico into Texas, and they asked him what he had in the back, and he said, I have frozen turkey ham made from turkey.
But it was bologna.
I don't know what turkey ham is.
Turkey ham.
Is that just like ground up turkey that's like smushed into ham?
That's probably what he was
thing?
trying to say.
So and
because ham is definitely from the pig.
Yeah, well, the reason why, because
Turkey pig.
They opened up his load, and they found that he had 154 pounds of Mexican bologna back there, and the reason you can't bring bologna over is because apparently pigs carry more diseases. Mm-hmm. So they had to go and
is bologna ham?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pork. It's what
pig.
What, is ham and bologna both pork, but is bologna not ham? Because bologna's like ground up a bunch of, I think it's like but that's shitty bologna.
It's all the giblets.
Is
there nice bologna? Because I don't think there is. I don't think there's any nice. It's like a hot dog. There's no nice meat about it.
See, I don't know enough about bologna to say yay or nay to that.
Yeah.
But apparently these U.S. border people got rid of seized the 14 rolls of Mexican bologna. We all know what they did with that bologna. Mm-hmm. They all ate that bologna up. But yeah, I guess you can't have Mexican bologna over here without it being tested more, especially with like swine flu and stuff like that. But
it's news to me.
I'm just picturing all the picnics that they having in the desert out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Were you a big bologna fan growing up?
Nope.
I used to eat bologna a little bit, like the Oscar Mayer things, because Oscar Mayer is very unique because it came in the circular pack. You know?
No, I know. I don't. I mean, I might be wrong, but from my memory, I don't remember eating really any bologna as a child.
Okay, because
wasn't big in my household.
Yeah, well, it was big. My grandma had it, and my dad really liked it, but I didn't like it that much. But I remember I worked in a deli in high school, and people would come in and get bologna, and it looked like nicer bologna though. It was like sliced bologna.
You worked at Subway?
I didn't work at Subway.
You were a sandwich artist?
I worked at a meat counter and deli counter or whatever, and people would come in and get grosser shit than bologna though. You get like
chicken feet?
No, like the one
pig snouts.
It was like ham with like it's like bologna with like pimento olives in it and like pistachios, and then they got liverwurst, which you couldn't even use in the slicing machine because it was so mushy that I would just like fling it onto the wall if you tried to use it on a slicer.
Just mashing it.
Just mashing it down.
She's just mashing it over there.
But I'm just not a fan of blood sausage or whatever.
I made blood sausage once. That was gnarly.
Why are you trying to say the bologna's so bad then? Why do you make that? That's disgusting.
Blood sausage is good though.
Well, what's in it? Then I'll decide after I hear.
Blood.
It really is, isn't it? Just like coagulated blood with like
I think so.
Pieces of meat in it.
I did it when I was in where was I? I was
in hell.
It wasn't I was in Slovakia when I made it.
What?
And so I didn't catch a lot of what I was doing, but I just kind of did the motions.
You took a blood sausage class?
No. I had okay, long story short, I had a foreign exchange student that
he stole all your genes.
I went to high school with him, and then when I studied abroad in the Czech Republic, he lived there as well. And then one weekend we went back to his hometown and we made blood sausage.
Oh, was it like what was his hometown like? Was it like very?
It was cool. It was awesome.
Was it like modernized or was it like?
It was a small town.
More like rocks on
No, it was like everything was really nice. It was a small
okay.
town. There wasn't a lot there, but everything that was there was nice.
Okay, I see. I haven't traveled anywhere in Europe at all. So when you say like he had lived in a small town in Slovakia,
Yeah.
I'm picturing like
No, this motherfucker
bunch
had
of rocks.
he had heated floors in his bathroom that you could turn on. So like when you got out of the shower, the floor was hot.
Damn, they living better than me in Slovakia.
It was nice.
I guess I gotta move to Slovakia.
Yeah, his town was really cool.
They let you have bologna in Slovakia. America, it's so hard to get my hands on any Mexican bologna.
Yeah, it's hard.
Anyway,
All right, so my new story here is Greensboro man creates dating app where he's the only guy allowed.
he the only guy allowed?
Yeah.
Greensboro is a place in New York.
I'm sure there is a Greensboro, New York. I was thinking Boston,
Oh shit!
like outside of Boston.
I'm just really showing.
Or I'm thinking of Foxborough, because that's where the Patriots are. So I don't know where Greensboro is actually.
Well, wherever it is, you can't date any ladies there without getting this guy's permission, apparently, because he's taken up all the
North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Does he have a name for this app? It's called like Ted.
Yeah, it's just Ted. No, it was called Singularity.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think you're gonna get a lot of ladies to sign up for that. It's kind of like The Bachelor, but
You only need one.
I guess you're right. I mean, he has the news article. People are interested.
Yeah.
But can I sign up and just say I'm a woman? To
Some
see what
people
he
are
looks like?
into desperation.
This guy's gonna have to. No, he just overwhelmed himself. If everybody tries to sign on there and talk to him, you know.
The catchphrase was online dating simplified.
Baloney just got easier.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's wow. So, speaking of not your story, Florida man spits food into woman's mouth in road rage encounter.
Saw that.
Were you there?
I see that every day in Hollywood.
So they got into like a little road rage incident. Apparently, this is Florida man, of course. And David Whipperman, 61, was taken into custody.
That's a David move.
Taken into custody Thursday in connection with the incident on October 29th when Whipperman got out of his truck and approached a woman driving nearby just before 6 p.m. He apparently walked up to her car. She rolled down the window. She was about to apologize for like the road rage, for like, you know, whatever is going on. And according to Tampa Bay Times, when she was talking to him, he decided to spit the chewed food in his mouth into her face, and some of it went into her mouth.
Did she comment on if it tasted good?
I was wondering to see what it was. That's the thing. Maybe bologna, honestly.
Could have been bologna.
But I don't know. It's like, is it the food struck the victim in the face and entered her mouth? But that's like the grossest thing that could ever happen. You ever have somebody like talk to you and like the piece of their spit goes on their face? On your face?
There is a much grosser story that I saw recently that I didn't bring into this. If you want me to try to recite it from verbatim,
I'd go for it.
I sent the link to our dear coward David Ledwith, but I saw a news article. I don't know why I didn't use it for this. It might have been when we did little break and recorded episodes before or something like that. But it was it had something to do with there was a homeless man in, I want to say Venice or West Hollywood.
Oh, I know about this.
Who had diarrhea? He had diarrhea into a bucket and then threw it on a lady who was stopped at a red light through her window. So I think I would rather take the food in the mouth than the diarrhea in the mouth.
I remember you sent me that article because I saw it too.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I sent that to you as well.
You sent it to me and it said that
that's probably why I didn't tell it, because you already knew it.
The police couldn't tell like what she looked like because she had so much diarrhea on her, and apparently he had been saving it up for like months, they think, and it was just in like a bucket. But like
the Rhea bucket.
Honestly, like talk about bad timing. It's like wrong place, wrong time. Have my windows down. Like what made him do that? You know, it wasn't like a personal thing. Like there's no way that
it makes you wish she said something just horrendous to him to justify it, but nothing justifies that.
Nobody who owns a car also knows a guy who diarrhea's in a bucket for months.
That's true.
Well, that you know of, I guess. I don't know, but most of the time that's not the case. So, yeah, okay, you win.
That's worse.
But apparently
it wasn't I wasn't trying to make it a competition.
But apparently this guy, he's used to, the guy that spit food in people's faces, he's used to committing crimes because he was taken into custody on charges of felony battery and burglary of an occupied vehicle.
He just sounds like a good mama bird to me.
And I think he's already been taken to jail a couple times before that. So he's just an angry guy who's spitting food.
Yeah.
So, wow. Diarrhea guy. I want to see them fight. Wow. What a fight.
It'd be a fight for the ages. A real clash of the Titans.
I think I know who's going to win.
I really don't know.
The man with the bucket.
Yeah. Maybe. You don't know. You never know.
Maybe he's like, that just made me stronger when
Yeah.
he threw that on me.
He ate that and spat it back at him.
He Kirby'd that shit.
Yeah.
Became diarrhea.
So J.J. Abrams reveals the real Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker, the final film of the third trilogy of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So he reveals that the actual script of the unreleased film has ended up on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
Who has it?
I don't know, but someone that worked within, I don't know, probably some fucking art department PA was like, yo, fuck this movie.
Well, that's super ballsy because you know that they're just going to go after, like, they're going to find out his account and then they're just going to prosecute him. Like, why would you try to go for eBay? Like, go for more of like a black market cash only type
You're right,
thing.
he's probably DIT. They're better with computers.
Well, maybe they could reroute it, but still, like, I feel like whenever that money order or whatever comes in, unless, like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, typically with scripts that are confidential like that, it has like that huge print across it that says like this
Their
is this
email,
person's this talent, this person's name on it.
Well,
so he probably just stole it.
Explain that. For like high profile scripts like Game of Thrones, you know, any Marvel movie, any kind of, you know, big thing like Star Wars,
Not 21 Bridges.
No, not 20. But they'll send out the scripts to people, and then watermarked on the script is their name.
Yeah.
So on every single page. So that means if that script gets leaked or you lose possession of it,
Yeah.
you can get sued personally. The person
time.
that misplaces a script can get sued instead of the person that is selling the script on eBay. Like maybe he wasn't a part of the production, but it's easier for
Some
them.
guy digging in garbage.
Yeah, it's easier for them to make sure like, oh, this guy's name's on it. We're just going to sue you instead.
It's probably Abrams.
It happens with screeners all the time too, which are screeners are what they send out to producers and directors. Their early cuts of the movie for like the award ceremonies.
If you live in Los Angeles, there's about a 10 out of 10 chance that you're going to find those DVDs at Goodwill. I have found so many of those DVDs at Goodwill.
That's really dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I have a producer who's like, he was putting them in the shred bin, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I can't have these because
if one gets out.
He's like, 5 years ago, there was a producer who was traveling through the airport, and one of the baggage guys opened up her bag and took her screeners out, and then they ended up online, and on the movie, it says her name while you're watching the movie. All these companies found out about it, and they sued her for like a ton of money. Not the baggage guy who stole them, because you can't figure out who uploaded them. So it's scary shit.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You got another one?
No, I just gave you two.
Because I found a third.
Oh, God.
And we won't go too deep into it, but woman, 82, confronts young burglar, breaks a table on his head, and starts shampooing him.
There's something that happened in between there.
Let's
right?
get into these stories.
We're done. Do you have any more details about that? I'm wondering how old is this lady?
82.
She's picking up tables? I'm guessing it's like an IKEA coffee table, right?
It's good enough to get him to the state of mind that she can start shampooing him. Yeah. And in the comment I'm looking at, it says, she shampooed his face, not hair, for your information.
Oh.
And there's a quote saying, I grabbed the shampoo, guess what? He's still on the ground. In his face, all of it, the whole thing.
Wow. Okay. Well, she was talking colloquially. But I'm guessing that was her homemade mace, right?
Well, her name is Willie Murphy.
Willie Monka.
Willie Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but I'm guessing she used the shampoo, which is weird to think that wherever she was, there was a table and a bottle of shampoo there, which is not that crazy. But unless you ran to the bathroom, you gotta use that like chemical warfare when you're that old. You gotta get that head and shoulders in them eyes.
I clicked on the story, which I usually don't, but I'm rewarded with the fact that this entire article is basically 4 sentences long.
Okay.
So in New York, an 82-year-old female bodybuilder.
Oh, this explains a lot.
Willie Murphy was attacked after she says a young man broke into her home until she turned the tables on the intruder.
Literally.
It was dark in her home, so she decided to hide and attack him as soon as possible. And then, in quotes and bold, says, I picked up the table and went to work on him. The table broke. And then another quote, and when he's down and I'm jumping on him, I grab the shampoo and guess what? He's still on the ground, in his face, all of it, the whole thing. And then the last sentence of the article is, watch the video below for her statement.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's crazy that like this guy just didn't do any more like recon. He's like, old lady. I mean, does she look like a bodybuilder? I don't know, but like,
I mean, an 82-year-old bodybuilder, yeah.
yeah, you should have just watched her a little bit longer and then be like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna go after her. There's an old lady who is not a bodybuilder.
Yeah. I'd also like to add the entire title of this article, misspelt brakes. So
They spelled it like a car brakes.
they put an E at the end of it. Breakes.
What website is this?
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
davidsfanfiction.com.
Alugy.
Alugi?
Alugi.
This is
Alugi.
This is top-notch journalism, people. Here
Sign
we
me
go.
up. Hire me up.
Anyway, I think we're caught up on the weird news. Don't eat bologna. Don't go to Chechnya. Where were you? I don't know. Don't fight bodybuilders. That's all.
Yeah. Especially 82-year-old bodybuilders.
And watch out for them buckets of diarrhea.
Yeah.
So, speaking of hot brown liquid, we hope you guys like coffee because we do. And if you like coffee, you better check out springheeledjack.coffee because they got great coffee. They're a fun company that has fun coffee with great art, and it's really delicious, and it's a great holiday gift since we know the holidays are around.
Oh, name something better than waking up on that holiday morning and sipping a real good cup of coffee.
Well, I always say my favorite thing in the morning is early morning cabin coffee. You know, like before anybody wakes up, and it's just kind of like cold, and you're like having coffee at the table. Maybe like one other.
Have you ever been in a cabin?
Not like a cabin, like in the middle of the woods, just like a house out in the middle of the woods. No, I don't know. It's just like people who own real cabins who are like, you have running water. That's not a cabin. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just saying like a house like near trees, basically. That's
coming from a true California boy.
I have low standards. No, just like Tahoe, Big Bear, anything up there. You know, you gotta.
Oh yeah, Tahoe, Big Bear.
Oh, shut the fuck up, dude. Why don't you go back to your stone house with your friend who steals jeans? Anyway, we you know, if you guys want more coffee, go check out springheeledjack.coffee.
My friend who steals jeans?
It's from The Office.
Oh. I was like, wait, I don't get that reference.
So go check them out. It's great coffee, low prices, good people. And let's get into these stories.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, so now, David, have you ever tried to create your own crew or team or gang when you were younger? You know, like create your own little like fantasy gang or something, like your friends, like you all have like nicknames or like a saying or a handshake or anything like that?
Not really. I mean,
even like a sports team, you know, like
I don't know. I never went into it being like, oh, I'm gonna create a gang. I don't know.
Well, you haven't lived that.
I started a fraternity, so I guess yeah.
Oh, that's kind of that, yeah. Well, when I was younger, we had a soccer team called La Cucarachas that we would. I think we brought this up before.
Oh yeah, because I had the Chupacabras.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like our soccer team, and everybody hated us because we were obnoxious, and we'd do the little cucaracha dance around the soccer field and. But, yeah. So, well, David, it's not too late. I mean, you already did the fraternity, but it's not too late since many adults do that exact thing. Now, people call these adult get-togethers gangs, religions, activist groups, and enthusiast groups. But there's another very popular form of a get-together that is usually much weirder, and we like to call them cults. And that is why today I will be telling you about Raelism, the UFO religion / cult. Whoa. Have you ever heard of Raelism?
I don't. I feel like a failure because of this.
So it's spelled Raelism. So some people pronounce it realism, but that gets confused. So it's like Raelism or, something along those lines. I could be pronouncing it incorrect, but I think I'm close enough. So in 1974, a man by the name of Claude Vorilhon, he's French, created a brand new religion by the name of Raelism, which believed that all humans on Earth were created by one particular alien species known as the Elohim.
Okay.
But before we get into the religion, let's get into the founder first. So I've never even heard of this Elohim species. I mean, it must be made up. They made the species up as well. But Claude Vorilhon, or whatever, grew up in a small town.
Horny.
He grew up in a small town in France to a Jewish father and a devout atheist mother. Weird combo, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, they decided to have Claude attend a Catholic boarding school, but of course that didn't last long as controversy stirred because Claude was taking part in communion even though he had not been baptized. So they decided to remove him and place him in a non-secular boarding school, which I don't even know why you want to go eat the little wafer if you haven't even been baptized.
Yeah.
Because that wafer sticks to your roof of your mouth like none other.
I can't say I've ever had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lucky you. They don't taste good. So once they start handing out Pringles, I'll go back to church. So Claude lasted there for a little while longer until 1961 at the age of 15 when he decided to run away from boarding school and hitchhike to Paris, where he could spend 3 years playing music on the streets. Now that is a 3-year plan if I've ever heard of one. So on the streets is where he met with Lucien Morisset, the director of a national radio program who was scouting for young talent. Morisset decided to take a chance on the young kid and gave him a record deal, changing his name to Claude Seller and becoming a rising pop star in France. Claude released 6 singles, including a minor hit song called Honey and Cinnamon, before his career came to an abrupt end due to his sponsor, Lucien Morisset, killing himself in September of 1970. So basically, this kid was like, oh, I'm going to be like a pop star right now. I'm the next Justin Bieber. I'm the first Justin Bieber.
I was about to say.
And then his record deal guy just like killed himself. And then there was like, oh, you're not a singer anymore, which is a very odd thing to happen.
Yeah.
But Honey and Cinnamon, I kind of have to find this song. I'm very interested in finding it.
God, it sounds horny.
It does sound horny. But he's got 5 other ones. I don't even want to know what those are titled. Probably something hornier than that.
Probably.
So after his singing career was through, he went back to his first passion, which was automobiles, by opening his own publishing house and becoming a sports journalist for his own publication, Autopop. So he was really, the reason he became a pop star is because he wanted to go buy like luxury cars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Why else do you become a pop star?
But yeah, so he went back and he's like, I'm just gonna become a journalist for like my own magazine, and it'll be all about cars. So it seemed that Claude had pivoted his career, and it had worked. That was until 3 years later in 1973 when he was first visited by an extraterrestrial being. So,
super extra.
So his whole life's about to get turned upside down. This is like where the record scratch comes into play, you know. That was more like a cat of some sort.
That did sound like a cat.
I have a record. Go fucking scratch it. Go scratch the record.
You don't have a record on the player.
So he writes in his book titled The Book Which Tells the Truth, which he can't lie in.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
That on December 13th,
The pen will explode.
That on December 13th, 1973, in a secluded area within a French volcanic crater.
Not to be mistaken with a Hawaiian volcanic crater, or like really any volcanic crater. Has to be
it was French.
A French.
It's a French one.
It's a Francis.
But he never explained why he was in the middle of the volcanic crater to begin with. But
that's not important.
It's not. So when
why are you trying to make this important? It's not important.
Did you see the title of my book? It's the book where I tell the truth, you stupid asshole.
Fuck you.
See, that's a great book title if you
God,
never
you know what?
have
I
it.
really miss Alex Jones. I feel like I channel his vibe every day, and I feel like as the days go on, less people understand where it's coming from, and I just look like an asshole.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of good that they don't know where it's coming from, I guess. But,
Coward.
So while he was in this French volcanic crater,
Hold on, I'm gonna Google where is Alex Jones.
he's gonna be in a volcanic crater. You know that, right?
He is a goddamn volcanic crater himself.
So, like I said, while he was in this volcanic crater, an extraterrestrial being came out of a craft that had descended gently from the sky and told him in French, because they speak French, that he had come from the soul. Oh, he had come for the sole purpose of meeting with him. Claude said that he was given a message by this alien and was told that it was his mission to pass this message on to the people of Earth. Very religious, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very.
It's not common where like the religion and the alien stuff cross.
Mm-hmm. Because we'll get into it, but he doesn't really believe in God. He believes in aliens that we thought were gods.
I mean, we're just a bunch of people running around that were aliens who banged a bunch of monkeys.
I mean, yeah, we are technically aliens, really.
We're the mix between.
What do you mean we banged a bunch of monkeys?
We didn't.
No, I just mean why is past tense in there?
Aliens banged a bunch of monkeys that made us.
Oh,
we're a hybrid between monkeys and aliens.
I was trying to say that
y'all ever seen that?
Banging monkeys never went out of style, baby.
Hey, you ever seen that photo that's like the gray alien with like the monkey and then they're holding a baby that is like a human?
We ain't ready to have this conversation
It
yet.
makes sense.
So the message that he wanted, where's Alex Jones, by the way?
I
heard you giggle over there.
Apparently, InfoWars decided to say "fuck you, YouTube" and made a new channel, and it got shut down within a day.
Makes
They're
sense.
like, no, you're still banned.
Makes sense. So it's like Creed thoughts. They can't be on the internet, you know.
God, I wish they could.
So the message was this: that advanced human scientists from another planet with 25,000 years of scientific advances created all life on Earth through DNA manipulation. These scientists, Claude said, were originally called Elohim, or those who came from the sky. He wrote that some 40 prophets in Earth's history were sent by Elohim, but that their messages were distorted by humans largely because of the difference in the level of civilizations between the advanced race and Earth's primitive ones. So he's basically saying that you guys fucked up the translations. Like, we told all these primitive people like what our message was, and now you guys wrote it in books, you fucked it all up, you put in your own shit in there, and now it's like not the same as it was back then, what the prophets told you, like Jesus and Moses, and those are all Elohims.
Okay.
And now you guys don't
that
understand.
makes sense. I would get it if it makes more sense for an alien to build a giant boat and collect two of everything than it does a human.
Oh, I didn't even mention Noah, but you're probably right.
Oh, I thought you just said Noah.
I said Moses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Moses didn't do that?
What are they, brothers?
Yeah, it gives a shit. They all open waters and fucking collect monkeys.
I want to hear you talk about religion more. This is amazing.
We can do a whole episode of me trying to pretend like I know what happens in the Bible, and I'm sure it'd be great.
Like, so which one of them apples was the rotten one? I don't remember that. So, Claude was given the mission of informing the world of humanity's origins in anticipation of the return of these extraterrestrials by building a residential embassy in neutral territory. He stated that certain mysteries were explained to him based on new interpretations of sacred text, such as the Bible. Maybe David came down and be like,
maybe we should just do an episode where I have a few beverages and I just try to tell the Bible from how I know it.
It's just drunk religion instead of drunk history.
I mean, just one episode. Why not?
I'm not opposed to it. That will be one of our Patreon ones whenever we do that.
That's not happening.
No
no one's going to pay for that.
You guys pay for it, be like, we made a huge mistake. So he also said that on the 7th of October, 1975, he was contacted by one of the Elohim who took him to another planet to meet who? We got 4 big ones. We mentioned
he's meeting 4 people here?
Yeah. These are the big 4 he met on Elohim.
Okay, he's meeting God. He's meeting
No,
Jesus.
they don't believe in God, so God's not a thing.
You could have at least
No.
You could have at least let me give you my 4 before you
Oh,
shut
I'm
it
sorry.
down.
I'm sorry. Go for it.
So I guess God and Jesus are out of the picture.
Jesus. No, you were right.
Okay,
with
so
Jesus.
Jesus.
They had to be like kind of people that like people said that were around because they
Okay.
always said God was
All
like
right,
more
all
of
right.
a, you know.
So you got Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You got Allah. You've got
Allah is not a human.
You've
nigga.
got you've got Michael Jordan and Mewtwo.
Okay, you're right on Mewtwo.
Yeah, Mewtwo's up there.
So you're kind of close. What you I think what you meant to say instead of Allah was Muhammad.
Yeah.
That's
That
what I
one, that
meant.
one.
So yeah, Muhammad was on Elohim.
That's right. Allah is God.
Yeah, in
But
a
did
different language.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jesus was there. We talked about Moses was there. He split the water. He didn't build the boat, but he split
Okay.
the water. And then of course Buddha.
Okay. Yeah, that guy.
He's a big one.
He's there.
Literally and figuratively. He stated that his second book.
Whoa.
What?
You didn't. What about MJ?
Well, he
god of air.
probably met him.
The
but,
God of Air.
but he probably didn't like mention him because
Okay.
you know
Okay.
he's gambling up on Elohim.
That's gambling jokes, huh?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
So he stated that in his second book, yeah, he has 2 books. And this book's called "Extraterrestrials Took Me to Their Planet."
Great title. It's good when you can't come up with a better title than that.
He all really good titles. Those books. So like I said, he stated in his second book, extraterrestrials took me to their planet. He relates the teachings he received from these people, and in this book, Claude describes harmonious and peaceful beings who were free of money, sickness, and war. So Elohim sounds like really cool, except there's no money there.
Okay.
So Jordan,
Okay, Alex, money doesn't run everything.
so Jordan's not there.
True.
That's what I'm trying to say. So it was at this time.
Were there backboards to break?
Then he's there.
Shaq's waiting.
Records to break. So it was at this time that Claude Vorelhon would change his name to Rael, Rael, with a little sideways colon. I forget what that's called above the E. You know what I'm talking about? Like Norse mythology uses a lot. Rael.
Yeah, sure.
So he changed his name to Rael and devoted himself to the task he said he was given by his biological father, quote unquote, an extraterrestrial named Yahweh.
Oh, yeah.
Shortly after a first public conference, Rial collected a group of people interested in helping him in his task, which would eventually become Raelism, something like that.
I mean, if it's a real tipping point of your story, you should have just Googled it.
I did, and
Found a YouTube video where someone says the word.
I did, and 2 of them said different things. It's like
Who is more credible?
It's like the Golden Compass when they're like, "This is a demon," and then other people are like, "It's Damon," because it's like Daemon, and they're like, "It's Daemon, it's demon." No one's read that book.
It's a book?
It's a
I thought
book.
that was a kind of shitty HBO show they were just making.
That's the new one they're making. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I watched
but-
the first episode. It's meh.
Dude, you're gonna give us bad ratings because you said it was bad, and someone really likes that out there.
I know.
Anyway, so now it is strange to talk about a cult and not have it be enveloped in malicious behavior, since the majority of the cults that had existed and still exist operate under the umbrella of taking advantage of people. But Raelism actually seems like a, yes, very bizarre cult, but in reality a peaceful one, since Raelian core ethics include striving for world peace, sharing, democracy, and nonviolence. But of course, this does not shield them from the controversial behavior that lies beneath the surface. So there is some shit going on, but overall they seem like they were ones that weren't operating off of straight greed like most of them, or power. You know, it seemed like they kind of want like peace, or just like, you know, finding yourself within or connecting with your biological father's Yahweh,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So one of the first controversies consisted of their chosen symbol to represent the religion. Now, David, what is the most hated symbol in the world?
The swastika.
Well, the Raelians decided to use, of course, the swastika as part of their symbol. Because
Isn't it awkward as shit that like ancient Japan, like that was like a symbol in ancient Japan.
Ancient Egypt, too.
Really? Okay, because I know in Japan they use the swastika, well, at least what we call a swastika now. But like, there's like a lot of like crazy old shit that has like swastikas on them. That was like a Japanese
Like
like
a pot.
symbol.
Yeah, like they have them on like pots and stuff like that. And people
Yeah.
destroy them, and they're like, "This is like Nazi," and they're like, "No, it's not. It's Japanese."
No, this is way before that. You just
Yeah.
destroyed something that's older than anything we have.
So because like, I'll get into that right now. Because they claimed the symbol was actually a symbol of peace. Now this is controversial because yes, the symbol did exist before the Nazis used it, but it really doesn't matter because some things just can't be salvaged from things that horrible. So this new symbol of Raelism became a problem when the Raelians They requested for territory in Israel and later Lebanon for establishing an embassy for extraterrestrials, but was denied due to their symbol that represented their religion for obvious reasons. So what did the Raelians do? Of course, but they put the Star of David around the swastika from 1991 to 2007.
That just makes it look way more suspicious.
And you guessed it, people hated it more. Luckily for them, though, today they switched their symbol to a Star of David that just has a swirl in the middle. Of course, though, Raelians still celebrate their made-up holiday, World Swastika Rehabilitation Day. Which it's just like
I was just gonna let some real good just dead air go there. I wasn't gonna say a word at
like
night.
I get what they're trying to do, but it's just like let the symbol die. It's like it's not that important, but they.
I mean, like from like an artistic standpoint, like the swastika is like a cool looking logo. I'm not saying that what it represented at whatever time was like a good thing or anything like that. I'm just saying
you're like, oh, okay, like I get why they made it in the first place because
Yeah.
it's kind of well. Right here it says they believe in infinity as like one of their properties of
Okay.
like the religion, and the Star of David represents infinity in space, whereas the swastika represents infinity in time, I guess. Which I don't really know how that works, but I guess like the symbol kind of looks like it's
a
branching
clock
off,
that doesn't stop,
or like
almost,
it's like branching out and like it keeps going for infinity. It's kind of like a weird. I don't really
Yeah.
get it, but it's just like. I'm sorry, but like if there's a reason why we can't, like some of us like in California, you can't wear red hats anymore because someone's gonna fucking throw a coffee in your face, and you're just like, red hats are not in right now.
Not a lot of Cardinal fans over here.
Not a lot of Cardinal fans, but you get it. Like in these ultra liberal areas, if you're wearing a red hat, you become like a target immediately. So it's like, I'm not saying wear a red hat. But I don't know what I'm saying.
Where you going with that one?
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Try to not be political at all,
Yeah, that's when things get sour.
man. Sour grapes.
Like this guitar I got from the Guitar Center.
So another controversy was that of plagiarism, as Riel faced many charges from ex-Raelians stating that he took his ideas of chemical education, infinity, and geniocracy, and many more from French UFO writer Jean Sendry. He was also found guilty of stealing full paragraphs from other UFO writers of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and many people also think that much of his philosophy greatly resembles that of Osho, the famous guru and cult leader who had his own heap of problems. So do you know anything about Osho?
I know a lot about OSHA.
No. Is that like safety regulations at work?
Yeah.
No, Osho was like he lived in Portland with his following.
Is that the guy who had that documentary on Netflix that was
Yeah.
super boring that everybody loved, but I could not sit through it?
It was a good documentary.
I couldn't do it.
It was called like something Wild Country.
Yeah.
Wild Country. And there's like a part in it where like he was basically just trying to get like a bunch of land to start this community where they gave him money and he bought like
See, I thought that was more Eastern Oregon. I thought it was closer to Medford.
I think it's Eastern Oregon. It's more of like in the middle of nowhere, but
Yeah.
I just remember that I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember that like he was having like a battle with the local government, and then he ended up like putting salmonella on a bunch of salad bars in the town, and it got like a ton of people sick, and like a couple people died. And then like the FBI went after him because he had like 100 Rolls Royces, and he was like conning people out of money, and it was fucking wild. But so
just stop at 99.
but but apparently he had like really good teachings, like
I thought you were gonna say he had really good teeth.
no, no, that too. Oh man. But like a lot of people still like stand by his teachings and like separate the man from the teachings because like he had a lot of stuff about like self-reflection. Like our buddy Mike, he really like likes his books and stuff like that.
I miss Mike. I hope Mike. I don't think you listen to us, but if you are, I hope you're having fun in Europe, buddy.
In his Rolls Royce.
Maybe.
So, but I also mentioned, remember he stole the ideas of chemical education, infinity, and geneocracy.
Mike did?
Rael stole it from these UFO writers, and I just want to go in like a quick sentence about which is each one of those words. So geneocracy is criteria of governance consisting of problem solving, creative intelligence, and compassion. Okay. So basically a government based off of like using thoughtful thinking and problem solving and compassion instead of
unheard
violence. Infinity is Raelians believe that the universe is infinite in time and space and lacks a center. So we kind of believe that more now than ever. Mm-hmm. Religions maybe as not so much, but like scientists are like, oh, it's ever expanding, we're not the center of the universe, but maybe back then it was. And then this is the most interesting one. They believed in chemical education, which is definitely like a sci-fi idea because they believed it injecting children's brains with memory matter from ones who already have had the information as a way of obtaining knowledge. So they would basically find somebody who were like really wise, and they would like take brain matter from them and like inject that into children, and then that's how they would learn.
How? Oh, I'm just confused on how you do that.
No, it's more of like a sci-fi thing. Like they're like, oh, we haven't reached that point yet. We're going to get to that point at one time. But they believed it would leave more time for people to be like kinder to each other and use creative like interpretation to live your life, and instead of focusing on like schoolwork or something like that.
All that bullshit.
But you kind of need that. So if they found out a way to do that, good on them. Leave me more time for my paintings. You know, I want to paint you like one of them French girls.
I wish you'd paint me.
I don't have enough canvas.
That's for damn sure.
So Rael also appeared on TV a couple times where he was scrutinized by a man. What I put by a man? He was scrutinized by a manly man, including priests, social workers, and psychologists because of his liberal views on sex, believing in sex-positive feminism, and the fact that he believed that there is no need to repent for performing striptease or being a prostitute. Now, this is good if you're supporting women's rights, you know, like what they want to do with their body and stuff, but it's bad if you're trying to get women in your religion to be personal prostitutes for you, because that's a slippery slope where he's like, no, you could be prostitutes in my religion. They're like, oh, thank you. Like, I'm going to go to work. And he's like, why are you going to work? Work is here. And they're like, no, you don't pay me anything. And he's like, no, it's okay. Yahweh said it's okay.
Yahweh.
So I don't know. It's like, it's hard to know what his actual intentions were with that. I like to think, you know, like I said, positive, sex positive feminism, you know.
There's nothing positive about it.
No, I mean, like if somebody wants to be like a stripper, like good on them. That's fine, you know. Use your body how you want to use it. You know, you have, you know, free will and stuff like that. But it just like it's kind of weird for like a guru guy to be telling you like, hey, you could be a stripper, and you're like, I know that, and he's like, yeah, I know. Now you know I know. Now you know I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of another kind of weird situation he dealt with there.
Yeah.
Also, a former Raelian named Jean Paraga believed that his wife and children were being held as prisoners and that Rael attempted to break up his family. He thought they were being treated like criminals in activities such as orgies and sacrifice involving children at the sensual meditation camps. Even though none of this was proven, Gene still went forward with trying to assassinate Rael via gunshot.
Okay.
But he failed.
He missed.
So he was just like, he basically got kicked out, and then the wife and the son were like, we're staying. And then he's like, you're doing all this stuff. He accused, a lot of people accused him of like pedophilia.
Okay.
That was never proven either. I think they just went, you're too weird and stuff. And I don't know if it did or didn't happen, but I couldn't find anything about it actually happening. It's just a lot of accusations.
Yeah.
The next thing was Raelian structure members also have set up exhibitions about their beliefs of extraterrestrial intelligent design, sending crop circles, UFOs, and spaceships for their arrival at an embassy. So basically, they have these giant conventions, exhibitions, where they show all these crop circles, UFO spaceships, and they're like, this is what is proven to show that these Raelians are coming down, and this is where they want.
Do we
like,
have a
their
photo
embassies.
of like these aliens?
These Raelians?
What
These
would-
Raelians?
Wasn't that the name of the weird alien that you were saying that you never heard of?
Oh, no. His Yahweh was the father, and then Elohim was the alien
Oh, okay,
race.
okay.
Yeah, but like they believe that Elohims look kind of like humans, where they don't really have a shape or something like that, but they look like humans when we talk to them.
Okay.
Because it's easier for us to like contextualize.
Which is no
that.
nose, no eyes, no mouth.
I'm an alien. Look at me. Moonwalk?
Moonwalk.
Backwalk.
Yeah, how about where's
Maybe.
Chi-Chi at? I haven't seen Chi-Chi in a while.
I haven't seen Chi-Chi. Oh, he's on Elohim.
Oh, that makes sense. Chi-Chi's on Elohim. Okay, that makes sense. I've been
Yeah.
wondering where he was. 'Cause
Gary's still here with us.
Gary has been watching forever.
Gary, our haunted doll. Chi-Chi
Ah,
is
shit.
his,
We haven't talked about him in a while. Come here, Gary. I'm gonna grab Gary.
and Chi-Chi is his evil little brother who just wears tidy whities and runs around the house causing chaos. He's sex positive for sure. Those are his metal ankles. What are you doing? Stop playing with
I
Gary.
just want everybody to hear Gary's sounds.
Stop. It sounds like he has a dislocated shoulder.
He might.
Oh my god.
He was a rifleman.
You okay? Well, Gary. For all of you, Gary's doing okay over here. So, Jesus Christ, David, stop taking off his.
I'm
pants.
just making sure he didn't steal anything. I was looking in his pockets. I wasn't taking his pants off. Mm-hmm. Gary knows the truth.
So, like I said, they had these exhibitions, but they also had seminars where they practice sensual meditation as well as many other self-reflecting processes. Oh, and one more thing. Yes, David, it's about to get really. Can you cover Gary's ears for this next part? Okay, he fell over. Fuck. He just face planted hard. So, like I said, there's one more thing. It's also a nudist colony filled with crazy amounts of weird sex.
Hell yeah.
So it's about to get horny up in here.
This cult still exists?
They do. So they partake in such activities such as observation of one's own genitals and masturbation with them in front of others, including reporters that attend the seminars for further information about the religion. Susan J. Palmer said a French journalist
What's the J stand for?
Jackson?
Job. I don't know.
Susan J. Palmer said a French journalist went to a Raelian seminar in 1991 and taped couples having sexual intercourse in tents. Why is she in the tent with them? That's a little fucked up. But
She's in the splash zone.
So these tapes gained widespread negative publicity with news stories that described these practices as perverted and a form of brainwashing. But like people would literally be sitting there in the seminars just naked, jacking off in front of like reporters, and people were like, "This is not okay. Like this is why are you doing that?" And they're like, "Hey, it's just like I'm exploring my body."
This
And
is
we're like-
art. You don't know art.
They're like, "I thought you were painting me. What the fuck?"
You're not an artist. You don't get it.
They're like, "Inject that needle in my brain. I want to learn math."
See that needle? I need it for biology.
So, the most controversial and attention-getting of all of their practices was to fall to their belief and said success, and of course, cloning.
Yeah, we need more cloning.
So, in 1997, Rael founded a cloning company in Canada that went by the name of Clonaid. Now, they're actually
Great for sport timing events.
So there's actually a fucking rapper out right now that he's like under a lot of controversy because his name's like Kid Boo.
Okay.
I think he has like pink dreads. He's not successful. He's kind of like a
How many face tats?
I think he has a couple actually,
Probably.
and neck tats and stuff like that. But he's like kind of a SoundCloud rapper. But he ends up being like 34 years old, 32 years old. But he's claiming he's like 22 years old,
Ooh,
and then
he's like Hopkins or whatever.
and he's also claiming that he escaped the Clonaid facility, and that he is a clone, and he does all these like shitty editing things where he's saying that he's like this is my clone, and it's totally like a split screen down the middle, and he's like, hey, what's up? And the guy's like, there's like a 5-second break, and he's like, nothing much, how are you? And he's like, what are you eating? And he's like, I'm doing pretty good. And they're like not matching up, and it's like he's like, that's my clone, I'm from Clonaid. And it's just like a really fucking weird. So when I read that, I was like, oh shit, Clonaid came from this religion.
So when you said Kid Boo, originally it struck like a little bell in my head. I was like,
The Dragon Ball Z character.
yes, it's a Dragon Ball Z character, and so it's actually kind of hard to find. You have to type in Kid Boo
rapper.
Yeah, you have to add in rapper, which
But
is
you found
never.
him.
It's never a good thing when you have to
Steal from a cartoon.
when you have to add the name rapper into your rap name for people to find photos of you, which means that your name is really shitty.
But you see what he looks like, right?
He looks great.
He's stupid looking. It's like, okay, great. And
He's
like,
got a lot of face tats.
So he claims to be a clone from Clonaid. He escaped Clonaid. So according to the book, of course, this is another one of his books, and I'm talking about Rael. The book is called Yes to Human Cloning. He just kind of gets straight to the point, you know?
We need it.
The first stage of this extended cloning process is creating a human embryo through human cloning, and then Raelian bishop and Clonaid CEO Bridget Bosselier claimed that an American woman underwent a cloning procedure of this type that led to the birth of a little girl named Eve on December 26, 2002. Rael told lawmakers that banning the development of human cloning was comparable to outlawing medical advancements such as antibiotics, blood transfusions, and vaccines. I don't really know about that, but I kind of get what they're trying to say, where they're like, if you guys ever seen the movie The Island,
Great movie.
That's about cloning somebody. Like rich people can clone themselves, and then they could harvest organs from those clones in order to make their lives live longer or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So that might be a thing, but that's a whole ethical issue of like now you're cloning people that don't know they're clones. And
There's another really good clone show / movie / I'm not saying what type it is because I don't want to do spoiler things, but it was recently released that was really good about kind of like cloning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you haven't seen it yet, because they hide that's like kind of the thing until like it's obvious in the first episode, but it's pretty good.
It's a spoiler. So,
yeah.
Okay. So, well, I mean, I'll get into these little. There's only a couple more stages of this cloning thing that I just want to read. So, the second stage of cloning is causing the clone to mature faster than normal. Rael says that in the future, scientists will discover an accelerated growth process in which a process like guided self-assembly of rapid expanded cells or even nanotechnology assembly of a whole human body can form in a very short time. So that's more of like almost like robot nanotechnology. It's not like
I know a lot about that.
It's not the normal form of, you know, it's not like people these clones are growing up. Like they have to accelerate it in order to, you know, probably use these clones in a
useful way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The third stage is the transfer of memory and personality from the original person to the mature clone. For the process to maintain one branch of personality and memory as opposed to two, a recording of the individual's mind would be required before the time of death and would be transferred to an adult clone body after the original has died. So they're trying to say that you can actually, instead of like harvesting organs from these clones, you could actually move your consciousness from once you die. There'll be like a 24-year-old version of yourself that you can inject your consciousness and memories and everything into, so you can never actually die.
So I can go back to college?
You could do that. And then everyone's like, wait, I remember you. And you're like, no.
Will I still be tired at 9 p.m.?
I'm not a clone. So in the final stages of development, Here, there too, unknown information contained within undamaged DNA would be enough to bring others back from the dead. So now they're talking about resurrection, including their memories and personality. This would be done by taking a small sample from someone's body and preserving it at the time when the level of brain efficiency and knowledge is highest. On the day of death, a cell would be taken from the sample for the cloning to take place, and the memories and personality would be restored to their peak level.
Can you imagine how fucked the world would be if we could just do that?
I know it's the
we
whole,
die for a reason.
So they got into a whole thing about like the Pope was like, I think it was like 2 popes ago, and he's like, this is not okay. You cannot be doing this. You're messing with like, you know, all this shit about like religion.
Like,
and,
Danny DeVito could live forever. I'm fine with that. I'll sacrifice children
some
yearly.
people.
But
yeah, it's just like it's a good question about like, you know, do you want to live forever, and like should you, and like population control and like ethics about like now we're playing God, and you know,
I just want to live until Half-Life 3, which means I need about 3 clones of
you
myself.
need about a couple clones right there.
Yeah. By the time that comes out.
So this last little thing I want to talk about was what they call the coming judgment. And Raelians do not believe that an ethereal soul exists free of physical confinement, and that Raelians believe that advanced supercomputers of the Elohim are right now recording the memories and DNA of human beings. Basically, what they believe is that the Elohim is going to resurrect anybody who was bad.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Wait, so they're looking for the baddies.
So they say people excluded from physical recreation would include those who achieved nothing positive but were not evil. So they want to bring back like the evil people and the really bad people for judgment when they like Elohim.
Nah, they dead. Just leave them dead.
So what they want to do is they said Rael expressed an interest in cloning Adolf Hitler for war trials and retroactive punishment.
Okay.
And they said Rael also mentioned cloning as a solution to terrorism by suicide attacks, as the perpetrators would not be able to escape punishment by killing themselves if the Elohim recreated them after their attacks. So they're saying that suicide bombers blow themselves up because they don't have to like, they can't be like tortured or they can't be prosecuted. And then he's like, well, we could bring them back if we have the Elohim. Yeah. So, which is a very, very weird thing. That's like the judgment. So I'll finish this off by saying realism is still around today and makes more of its money by suing people for defamation. So
that's all that matters.
So yeah, they just sue a bunch of people, and they're like, okay, you defamed me, and they get like a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So since they sue people for defamation, I would like to say that this is in my final statements. Raelism is a religion that I don't fully understand. Some parts of it seem cool, others not so much. But if there's one thing I learned from all of this, is that maybe we shouldn't let a private organization delve into cloning without any restrictions, because one day you might be staring at the wrong end of a gun next to your clone as you watch him beg for your wife to not shoot him. Because he's the real David. He'll say, honey, remember that night in Cancun with the Miracle Whip and the giant gummy worm? And next thing you know, you're dead. So think twice about cloning yourself, jacking it in front of reporters, and of course using any swastikas in your logos. You like that? You like that little wrap up, David? That's for you, buddy.
I'm just bummed I can't just be jacking it in front of reporters. All
well, you
willy-nilly.
You can if you just,
I guess so.
join the right cult.
That's true. Everybody's looking for their next cult.
But there's so much information on about Raelism as there is with most religions. So I probably didn't cover every single thing about the religion. But
they can't expect us to.
Yeah. So I mean, I just covered the main weird parts of it. So that's it. That's Raelism, realism, whatever you want to call it.
All right.
It's a cult.
That's it. That's all of it.
That's it.
Well, we all know the deal with Thanksgiving because we all know it's coming up. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen.
Turkey Day.
Turkey Day. And in today's modern time, it's become a time for families and loved ones to get together and break bread and share good times with the people that you love, showing your appreciation. Or It could be another reminder on why you deleted your Facebook or stopped reading those slightly racist news articles that one uncle keeps sending you.
Uncle Terry.
We all got one, huh? Regardless on how you spend your Thanksgiving, let's dive into the story that actually got us to celebrate the day and how what you thought what Miss McConnell taught you in preschool was the truth, but it was a goddamn lie.
Oh, okay. You gonna tell me about the real Thanksgiving?
The real Thanksgiving, which if tanks were invented, they probably would have been involved.
Yeah, you're probably right, actually.
So the story starts in the fall of 1621 when a group of pilgrims decided to celebrate their first successful harvest in the most pre-American way possible by firing guns and shooting cannons aimlessly in celebration. And as one could imagine, this noise would attract a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. And the ruckus alarmed the nearby the tribe of Wampanoag, Wampanoag, who decided to go take a look at what the hell was going on. And these actions were responsible for making the people, the native people of the land, to be present in the first so-called Thanksgiving.
Oh, they weren't even invited? They just were like, who's shooting a bunch of cannons, like, in our backyard, basically?
Kind of.
Oh.
But see, this is where it gets interesting, because there's so many different sides of this story.
Yeah, I bet.
And so according to a historical preservation officer of the Mashpee, not Wampanoag, that's fucking Canada, Wampanoag tribe, Ramona Peters, this meeting of two societies was not as great and as peaceful as some paintings depicted.
I mean, from when you're a kid, you're like, the Pilgrims and the Indians they're all friends.
They
and
held
all
hands
sat
and they
down.
sang songs.
It's like, I don't think that was the case compared to what happened after that.
Nope. So while the natives, the native locals might have shared some food with the pilgrims during this, investigation of seeing what the noise was, they kept their wits about them, obviously not trusting them for the clear reasons.
As far as they could throw them.
Yeah. And so this first Thanksgiving did not mirror much of what we consider of the norms today. There was no turkey, there was no mashed potatoes, there was no stuffing, there's no Jell-O. There was no Bud Lights.
Was there a cranberry can?
There was
a
no
gelatin can.
There were no can of cranberries.
You know, like the gelatin that's shaped like the can?
But there were sure as hell a few racist uncles there.
Oh. That's all America was for a while. It was a bunch of racist uncles.
So according to historians, the English people, their gardens typically consisted of things like cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, colewort.
What?
Which colewort is basically the same thing as like collard greens.
Oh, really?
That's what I guess. Parsnips, turnips, beets, onions, radishes, lettuce, and the spinach.
Keep going.
The spinach.
Yeah, the funky grass in there.
And the natives were known for their cultivated beans, squash, and pumpkins.
Oh, so the natives had pumpkins?
Yeah.
Okay, squash and pumpkins.
Pumpkins are technically a squash. Like it's in that family.
Yeah.
But including pumpkins.
Okay.
It was also common that the native people had they would dry out of season fruits like blueberries and they'd involve them in their meals year round, which I thought was really interesting.
They would dry them out?
Yeah, they had a way to do that. Pretty cool. So historians cannot pinpoint the exact day this meeting took place, which is why we do the stupid shit where we just say, yeah, fuck it, let's do it on the last Sunday of the month.
Thursday.
Yeah, that too. Equally as stupid.
Oh, fuck.
It wasn't until 1863, which I think is a typo. During the Civil War, that Thanksgiving became a national holiday. Good old Honest Abe was the key person into making it an annual holiday, if you didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why he did that?
Because he's honest.
Well-
He wrote the book, This is what aliens will look like when they come down. He didn't lie in that book, and he won't lie about this holiday either.
Nope. Or that tree he cut down.
Oh, the oven's ready.
God damn it, Chris.
Or that tree.
Is that why it's getting so hot in here?
Yeah.
It has the fucking oven going. So the reason why Abe Lincoln really wanted to make Thanksgiving an annual thing was because he thought it was a technique that he could use to unite the country while it was split between the Civil War.
Well, it's a good tactic.
Because it was pretty common that the houses were split during that time. Like it wasn't so much like, you know, they like to say like the South and, you know, all that shit, but like realistically it was a lot of the times that they're siblings who would support one way or the other. And so he thought that doing this would make people sit down and have meals with their family and stuff, and it would be more civil and it would be a better way to unite the country.
Isn't it crazy that like we still have those problems today, and that's and Thanksgiving is like
shit changed.
I mean, Thanksgiving is kind of a way to do that, but like it also just like always ends in like a fucking brawl. Like, you know, not like a brawl, but like people are like, oh, I gotta fucking go to Thanksgiving. Like you said, Uncle Terry's gonna say something fucking racist or something like that. So it still holds true to this day. Like the main reasons why we do it, you know.
Yep. So, while some people believe the first gathering was a peaceful event, people like William Newell, a former chair of the anthropology department of the University of Connecticut, claims the first Thanksgiving was the celebration of a massacre of 700 Pequot men, women, and children in 1637.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So the Pequot tribe of Connecticut gathered for an event that they named the Green Corn Dance Ceremony, which they held every year. It had something to do with harvesting, and it was an event where they would dance for the harvest.
Oh, okay.
And
for like a rain dance.
Kind of like that.
For a good bountiful harvest.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was at this ceremony where mercenaries of the English and Dutch attacked and surrounded the village, burning everything down to the ground while shooting and stabbing anyone who tried to escape the flames.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It was said the very next day, the governor of Massachusetts Bay, Massachusetts Bay Colony, declared, in quotes, a day of Thanksgiving, thanking God that they had eliminated over 700 men, women, and children, and then it was signed into law. This day forth shall be day of celebration and thanksgiving for subbing the Pequots.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, that's the
quote.
Oh, but this is before Lincoln.
Yes.
Okay, so this was the like original like that's where they came up with the name Thanksgiving, and then Lincoln's like, well, we want to bring people together, and he's like, well, they called it this back then, and then he didn't even realize the origins of being like.
I mean, he may or may not have, but who knows?
Yeah, he's like, well, people have named the holiday already. I'm not gonna start calling it like sit down with your weird uncle day. You know what I mean? So, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was fucked up. I didn't know it was that fucked up.
Yeah. So William Bradford, who was alive during the time, he wrote his famous journal. I'm not saying it's like this isn't a modern day man. This guy was like, you know, way back when.
Okay.
And his journal of history is something that people use a lot to like confirm or deny like what actually happened then.
Oh.
He has a famous journal from that time.
Oh, wow.
And he wrote this, which I had to kind of try to interpret some of it because a lot of it is they wrote down exactly what he said in his journal, which a lot of it was misspelt and the grammar is very strange.
But let me read it really quick. Got Harney today.
Got Harney.
Beehive, not place to put it. What does that mean?
It would have been like behave, not place to put honey. So yeah, so I had to kind of
stinging feels good though.
I had to kind of run with this very large quote because a lot of it was very like ease thrown in there, all nimbly bimbly, like who gives a shit. This is how you spell this.
Can you read it like you're an illiterate?
Well, that's how I read everything.
Can you just read it like David?
All right. So it starts. Those that screamed the fire were slain with a sword.
I
Which-
could already tell this is not going to be a funny journal entry.
No, it's not.
No.
And so I'm assuming that means people that escaped the fire were slain with a sword.
Yeah.
Some hewed to pieces, others run through with their rapier, which is a sword. So as they were quickly dispatched, and very few escaped, it was conceived they thus destroyed about 400 at this time. It was a fearful sight to see them thus frying in the fryer. Pretty gnarly.
Fuck.
And the streams of blood quenching the same. And horrible was the stink that sent thereof. But the victory seemed a sweet sacrifice, and they gave the prayers thereto of God, who had right so wrongfully for them, thus enclose their enemies in their hands, and give them so speedy victory over so proud and insulting of an enemy. So,
What a dick.
and that was me translating a lot of it. That's how,
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't like written by Lincoln, the orator, but wow, I mean, that's awful. That's fucking, I can't, I was trying to pick up from like what you were reading, if he was like for it or if he had like a conscience behind it.
I think he loved it.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're writing about it. It's because like, I mean, there's
He saw it as a great victory over a
Yeah.
proud and insulting enemy.
I saw that. That was the last one. I was like, okay, that
Yeah.
didn't sound great.
So the massacre came as retaliation from suspicion and anger from the pilgrims because they had blamed the people of murdering an English trader who the tribe accused of kidnapping their children. So it's kind of like they were saying, this guy's kidnapping our kids, and then that guy disappeared. So like, you killed him. And so this kind of turned into like he did this, well, you did this.
It's a tit for tat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what all war is. I mean, if you look
Oh,
back,
yeah.
I'm not going to get into politics and stuff like that, but there's a ton of wars out there that are just like tit for tat, and no one even realizes or wonders how they started. It's just the next thing that happened, And
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's bad.
before that whole massacre, the English and the Dutch were aware that the tribe had a great deal of like fearsome and worthy warriors, so they were too afraid to start a fair fight. This is when they decided to bring in disease
Oh, smallpox.
to try to kill off as many as they could.
Yeah.
And then they waited until the day of a celebration so they could catch them off guard.
Dude, that is so fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's so weird how you went from like, we go from like, oh, this is the American Revolution. We all stand in a line and then we take turns shooting at each other. And then all of a sudden, when there's like a non-white person involved that in the war, you're like, whoa, we could kill them on their birthday. And you're
Yeah.
like, wait, why? And they're like, well, they don't have guns because it's their birthday. They're having a good time. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. So it was believed that the tribe was home to over 8,000 people when the pilgrims arrived. But eventually with the illnesses, they did the smallpox stuff, and that brought their tribe down to 1,500. It like guesstimated.
Yeah.
And it was at that point when they got their numbers down that low is when they did the attack on their celebration day.
Oh, fuck.
And so it's believed that they killed about 700 of the 1,500.
Wiped out.
And that was their goal, was to kill off this entire society of people just because they killed one person, allegedly.
I mean, that was their justification, but
yeah.
that wasn't the real reason behind it, because they're just like, oh, well, like, we kill you off. We don't have to deal with land. We don't have to deal with trading. Like, it's all ours now. We have the superior weapons because, like, Native Americans were more, they didn't deal with, in an industrial revolution. They were dealing with, like,
they
what
lived the life
had.
they had, and it was good for them. They didn't see the need for change.
They had a connection with nature, so that
Yeah.
we don't need to start building buildings and, like, create guns out of metal and stuff like that. They're
Yeah.
just like, that's wild.
So I spent a good 20 minutes looking at the computer, and boy, I really couldn't find a good way to finish this story on a high note.
It's tough.
And I'm not trying to put a big damper on Thanksgiving.
Don't go telling this story at Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
You know?
and I'm not trying to make you feel bad for celebrating the so-called holiday, because I believe after time, long before anybody listening to this was born, that this holiday has turned into something just entirely different. But I think it's our duty to acknowledge the darkness of where it comes from and maybe change our perspectives of why we celebrate, but more focus on celebrating things not so much that have to do with the pilgrims or any of that bullshit, but more of just celebrating the people that we surround ourselves with, even if they are slightly racist or stinky or just angry at the world
Or horny.
or just that one little cousin who's just hitting puberty that won't stop humping the turkey.
Humping the turkey.
It's just so warm.
Oh, no.
Oh no, I took it too far.
Yeah, that's too far. Just think of that at Thanksgiving, guys.
But yeah, that's my depressing Thanksgiving story right there.
I guess you just, in conclusion, just, take a moment to realize, the things that have happened and to not forget those things, even though they are hard to deal with, and realize how far we've come and how we can strive to be better and, really turn
And
Thanksgiving.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
And Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And, take time to understand that.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. We love it when you do, and we love telling you these stories. If you guys want more information, you go to campstrange.com. We got all the hyperlinks for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram there. You can send us your own spooky, scary, weird stories to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com or the contact tab on our website. And also, holidays are coming up. If you want to give somebody a shirt that they don't of a podcast that they don't know about, you can send them our shirts, because we got shirts and we got mugs. And you could do that. You go to campstrange.com and we got a store there, so you could order some stuff if you'd like. If you don't, that's fine too. If you'd like to rate, review, and subscribe, we'd appreciate that, though. That'd be your little Christmas gift to us,
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to send us anything. Just send us a review. Hopefully it's a high one and a good one. Mm-hmm. And we'd really appreciate it. So thank you guys. That's what I'm thankful for. You guys. I'm thankful for you guys. Is that cheesy?
Yep.
Well, at least I didn't mention my little cousin humping a turkey, So at least that got that notch on my belt.
Yeah.
And David, what else do we have?
Well, I mentioned last time we recorded that I wanted to switch it up a little bit.
Oh, fuck.
And so instead of doing what else we've got, I thought we could change the topic up and do something a little more fun here. And I thought with the holidays coming up, we're all going to be seeing our family members. And so I thought maybe we could come up with some new names that we could call family members. Like a grandpepper.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Out of left field here. Can you start this? Because you led with grandpepper, which is an old classic.
It's a good, yeah.
So do you have to explain what the name is referring to?
If you'd like to,
you
yeah,
say
sure.
grandpepper. Be like, that's another
a
word for grandfather.
grandfather.
That's a grandfather.
How about a squirrely Chester? That's the creepy uncle.
You had like a...
I literally just made that one up. I swear I didn't want to have an advantage here.
Okay. Blimpy Kim. That's your fat aunt.
How about a Cherry Susan? That's your drunk aunt.
Nougat Nelson. That's the
That's the kid who loves all the candy.
Yeah, he's eating all the candy.
God, I hate those kids.
Yeah.
You've got the Obama bumper daddy.
What's that?
That's your step uncle.
Okay, I got Randy, and he's Randy. He's just horny. There's a hole in the pumpkin pie. You don't know if it's a finger or if it was something else.
How about a pumpkin papa picker? That one is whatever you want it to be.
What about a savory gravy daddy?
Ooh.
That's the guy who just pours like gravy all over his food. Like
He's that
everything.
he's that really pale guy that you're not really sure who he's related to, but he just walks around with the gravy.
Well, he's like the skinny guy, but he has like a big pot belly, but like everything else is really skinny.
Just
you know
really
what I mean?
greased back hair.
Savory
white gloves.
Savory Sam.
Oh, Savory Sam. I like
Yeah.
that. How about Turncycle Terry?
Who's that?
He's the one that he's always passing the dishes around, but he likes to switch direction a lot.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
What about bullshit Brenda, where she brings like the stuffing that has like it's not normal stuffing. She decided to put like a bunch of random shit in there.
Oh,
She's
okay.
like,
I thought you were gonna go with like. Okay, sorry. Finish.
I put celery pieces in the stuffing. I'm like, you don't need to put celery pieces in there.
I think you do.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say what
You're
was
a fucking bullshit Brenda.
a bullshit Brenda is she would be the distant relative who like nobody really wanted to invite, and then she like brings up like ex loved ones or something,
Oh, okay.
or she's the one that starts the politic talk.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got another good one. You
Okay.
go, because I got one more good one. Okay.
All right. How about Hangry Harry, the guy that's just like fucking pissed because it's not ready yet.
Oh, that's good.
Just,
That's a
you know,
real guy. That's
that's too
Okay.
close to home.
I also got ex-con Carl. And he's like your aunt's ex-con boyfriend who like definitely
had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, he has like 3 teeth in his mouth, and he's just happy to be there. But like he's bringing up some like he's telling you prison stories of like how to make wine in the toilet.
How to make the cranberry sauce in the toilet.
Yeah, you don't want to be alone with him in the kitchen. You're like trying to like dodge him a little bit.
Yeah.
Ex-con Carl.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
Okay.
he's the one you get high with before dinner.
Exactly. And you're like, he's like, you want to go smoke outside? And you're like, yeah. And then you go.
He pulls out a chillum,
Exactly. No. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know what that is, but like
little crack pipe.
Exactly. That's a,
Yeah.
you go to smoke the funny lettuce, and he's smoking the wild rock.
You you find him in the kitchen off that wild rock, just double punching the turkey into the table as hard as he could.
He's like, looks like my ex-wife. I don't fucking like it.
Yeah, all these bones break way easier than they used to.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it.
You like mashed potatoes? How about mashed turkey?
Well, stay tuned for more. We hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And David, do you have anything else to say before we leave?
Just happy Thanksgiving.
And don't forget to stay strange.